Hey everybody, it's Chad from Six Blog. I'm Stick. Today I just want to do a video and talk about a trip that I'm getting ready for and that I'm super excited about. Some of you, or probably most of you, have probably picked up on the hints and the comments that I've made in the past few weeks. But coming up in the future, not as soon as I'd like it, but it's coming up pretty close. I'm going to be heading out to Washington to do a hike in the Olympics National Park. Like I said, I've been kind of getting ready for that. I've got most of my stuff, I think, pretty much nailed down as far as what I'm going to take with me. So this video I want to just kind of talk about the gear that I'm going to be bringing and kind of show you the food that I'm going to be taking and how I plan on getting it there. Before I get into all that though, I want to say that this is going to be my first hike out west. I've obviously never been to the Olympics. I've just never been out west and did any hiking. All of my hiking so far has been primarily along the Appalachian Trail or up in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, Sipsey Wilderness, and then some other little small wilderness areas or state parks that are closer to home. So I'm really looking forward to heading out to the Olympics just simply because I've never been out west and done any hiking. I'm looking forward to just seeing something different, you know what I'm saying? Also, not only that, I'm really looking forward to meeting a group of people that I'm going to be hiking with. This is probably one of the biggest groups that I'll have actually hiked with. Most of the time, it's just a couple of guys, a couple of buddies with me. There's going to be a few more. This time, at the moment, there's 7 of us. And to just give you an idea, I'm really excited about meeting these folks. One of them, the guy that's really putting most of the stuff together, just simply because he pretty much lives in the Olympics, is Barefoot Jake. Barefoot Jake, he's a pretty cool guy. I've done a couple of video chats with him, and which was interesting because those were the first video chats I ever done. Barefoot Jake's a pretty cool guy. I'm looking forward to actually getting to finally meet him, shake his hand, and looking forward to seeing what he's got to show us in the Olympics. Other than Barefoot Jake, there's 2 other guys that live up in the area. One of them is a guy named Jeff, and he actually lives pretty much in Rainier's backyard. So that's pretty cool. This trip actually started out, we were planning on doing the Wonderland Trail, but we didn't get the permits for that. So talking with everybody else, we decided we'll just do something else, and that's how the Olympics came about. But Jeff, like I said, he lives pretty much in the Mount Rainier's backyard. He actually has a Facebook called Washington Wilderness Adventure. He posts lots of cool pics. If you're interested in the Rainier area, I'd definitely go and check him out on Facebook. Like I said, it seems like he's out there every day doing some sort of little hike or something or another, and he's got lots of pictures, really, really cool looking pictures. And actually talking with him, since I'm going to be flying out later than everybody else, potentially we may go out and just do a little hike out there, so that would be really cool if I got to go and check out Rainier too with my own eyes. Of course I wouldn't go up to the top, but just being able to check it out. Also, he has a buddy, his name is Jesse. He lives in a little town that's kind of between the Olympics and Jeff's house, so he's going to be heading out with us. Other than that, hiking with Grant Civil, which some of you may know is the president of Gossamer Gear. I'm really looking forward to meeting him. That's going to be pretty cool. Also, Trinity, she's actually an expedition guy from Colorado. Her and a couple of her friends actually did a hike. Basically, they hiked the length of South America, I think it was. I think it was about 1,800 miles, about 11 months, something like that. Anyway, she's got a website called Eat Hike, Sleep Hike, which kind of pretty much details all the events during their hike, so you can go and check that out too if you're interested. Looking forward to meeting her though. Expedition guide, that should be pretty cool because around here there's no expeditions around here really. I mean, depending on how you look at it, but there's nothing really like that. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of perspective she has on this sort of hike. And last but not least is Elizabeth Thomas, which some of you may know as Snorkel. She is actually she's done a lot of hiking. She's a triple crowner. Of course, that means she's hiked the AT, the PCT, and the CDT. Not only that, she went back and re-hiked the AT and set the women's speed record for unsupported AT through hike. I believe that was something around 80 days, I think it was. She's done that. She's also done a number of other little hikes. She's, I think, what they call the Little Triple Crown or something like that. It's the John Muir Trail, Colorado Trail, and some other trail I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, she did that in a year. She's done a lot of hiking. One of her most recent hikes, she actually did the hike around Los Angeles that connects all the stairways, something like 200 miles and 312 stairways, something or another. You can check that out. Actually, I just realized last night they actually did a write-up in the September issue of the Backpacker magazine, so you can check that out. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to meeting these guys and girls. Like I say, a lot of experience. I still consider myself to be a pretty new backpacker, so I'm really looking forward to meeting these other people and seeing. I'm wanting to learn from them, so I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, preparing for this hike, I've kind of went about it like I have most other hikes. I make a gear list. Of course, I studied or I've read up about the conditions that I plan to expect. Plus, like I said, Barefoot Jake, he actually lives in the area, not to mention Jeff or Jesse. So they've been able to give me tips, kind of what to expect and stuff like that. So I've taken what I've learned from those fellas, as well as from what I've read, and I've applied that to my own experience. And what I mean by that is basically what I like whenever it's cold or whenever it's wet. So considering that, it is the Pacific Northwest, so I am expecting rain, and because of that, I'm bringing rain pants, which those are actually going to double, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Bringing rain pants, and I'm also bringing, of course, a rain shell. I thought about bringing my Go Light umbrella, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that. Partly because actually the months of August and September, from what I understand, have the least amount of rainfall throughout the park or in that area during those 2 months. So I have enough, I think, that I'm going to be able to be okay. And I think the umbrella may be just a little bit of little overkill. So I've got that. And then, like I said, cold weather. I'm expecting temps. According to Jake, he's expecting maybe mid-30s for the lows at night. I'm going to go ahead and just say 30 degrees. And for the stuff that I've got to sleep in, I'm not so much worried about hiking because during the days it'll warm up at least a little bit. And then whenever I'm hiking, I'm moving around, my blood's pumping, and I stay warmer than I do when I'm just laying down. So I've made my decisions on what I'm going to bring, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. Other than that, the biggest issue for me has been how am I going to get my stuff there. Obviously, I'm flying there, and it's not a direct flight. I'm flying out of Memphis, actually, to Salt Lake. I've got a layover, and then I'm going to fly from Salt Lake to Seattle. Another thing that's making this a little difficult, this is only the second time I've ever flown. The first time was actually overseas. Me and my wife went to the Bahamas a couple of years ago. But that was a totally different experience. I wasn't carrying on gear and stuff that they could potentially consider harmful. It was just all clothes, flip-flops then. This time I'm carrying trekking poles, tent stakes, water filters. I've even read the TSA agents considered a water filter, was afraid that it could be a pipe bomb or something. So I've had a lot of concern about that. My two options that I considered was one, was just checking everything that I can, and the things that I couldn't check, such as fuel, mini big lighters. They won't let you allow mini big lighters in your check packages, nor will they allow you to have strike anywhere matches. But I can't have those, and of course I might can actually have Gatorade bottles. I can't remember at this point. But anyway, those few things I can check, or everything but those few things I can check. My other option was because I'm a little concerned that since I'm going to be actually changing flights, my thought is, are they going to put my luggage on the other flight with me? Am I going to get there and have my stuff? Because if I'm not, that's going to be a problem, because all of my stuff will be somewhere on the airlines or with the airlines. It'd be kind of hard to go on the hike without my gear. The other option, like I said, was to mail everything that's questionable and then take everything else and put it on a carry-on and carry it on with me and not worry about checking anything. The problem with that is that it was more expensive. Checking a bag is $25 one way, whereas mailing everything was going to end up costing me probably $65 to $70 one way. So there's a money thing there. So I've asked questions. I've actually went to 3 different forums. I went to BPL, Backpacker.com, and White Blaze. And then I've also asked on my blog's Facebook page, what would you do? How would you do it? Because I wanted to get other people's opinions and see what it is that they do. People that's done it before. And honestly, I can't tell you if it leaned more one way than the other, because I had so many responses validating both sides. So what I decided to do is I decided that I'm going to take the chance and just check everything. The only thing that I've done different, or the only thing that I'm not going to be checking, is I mailed my Gossamer Gear LT4 trekking poles. I will say that I could have fit my Black Diamond Alpine carbon cork poles. You know what I'm saying. I could have fit those inside my case, but I really wanted to use my LT4s. I really like my LT4s. Don't get me wrong, there are a few issues with them, but I'm comfortable with those issues, and I really like having them. So I went ahead and I mailed those already to Jeff, and he's actually let me know that those have made it there. So that's cool. Another thing I've done is I'm going to go with Esbit for my cook system, and I've just went ahead and I've purchased more Esbit, and instead of having it shipped to my house, I mailed it to Jeff's house. And he's let me know that those packages have made it as well. Other than that, I'm going to put everything inside my check bag except for a couple of things I am going to carry on, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I've got everything except for a mini Bic lighter and my Gatorade bottles, because I've carried 2 20-ounce Gatorade bottles on my shoulder straps. But what I'll do is just whenever I get there, hopefully my check bag will make it. Jeff's going to have my Esbit and my trekking poles. I'm just going to stop at a convenience store, pick up some Gatorade bottles and a mini Bic, and I'm going to go for it. And I should have everything. So anyway, that is my plan. So what I want to show you first is my carry-on. This is what I'm going to decide. You can have up to, on Delta, you can have one personal carry-on bag and then actually another smaller bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this. This is going to be my carry-on bag. And actually inside it, I've got this other small bag. This is actually the Gossamer Gear Rucksack. What I've got here is I've actually got my clothes, my hiking clothes. And I've got that inside my pack just for one to get some of the bulk out of my big suitcase that I'm checking. But another thing too, that way I'll have a change of clothes. At least if this gets lost, I'll still have a change of clothes once I get there. Of course, it'd be hiking clothes, but that's okay with me. But anyway, I've got my hiking clothes in there, and then what I'm going to do is whenever I get on the plane, so that I ain't got to sit with all this stuff in my lap, I'm actually going to put this up in the carry, or up in the cabin, or up in the overhead compartment. And then my rucksack is going to have a few other things, like my camera, which I've got shooting this video right now. My camera's going to go in here. Of course, all my batteries, because I believe that there's an issue with packing lithium batteries in your check bags. So my lithium headlight battery, AA battery, that's going to be in here with my spare batteries for my camera, and then also like my book, my cell phone, and a battery that I'm going to recharge my cell phone with, and then any kind of wires. And this I'll just keep in my lap, kind of put in my floor, or in the floor on my feet. That way, these are things that I would actually use while I'm on the plane. And I won't have to worry about getting up and getting into this bag or anything. But anyway, so that's what I'm using for my carry-on. And as far as my hiking clothes, I'm not really going to go through that. I will say that I've got my Columbia convertible pants with a belt, just a pair of socks. I've got my Dirty Girl gaiters. I've got my Patagonia Expedition Capilene 4 hoodie. I've got my Patagonia Capilene 2 long sleeve shirt. And then I've got my Outdoor Research hat. And those are the things that I've got that I'm going to wear with me. Or that I'm going to carry with me. Now everything else is going to be packed inside here that I'm going to send to check. So what I've done here is this is just a pretty simple suitcase. It's just got a big area in the bottom. It's kind of got the hard plastic. so it kind of gives it a little bit of reinforcement. And then I've got the zippered pouch up here. What I've done is all the gear that goes in my front pouch, I put it up here, and then everything else is going to be inside my pack or in my side pack pockets is inside here. So just to show you what I've got in here, these are going to be things, now this is not going to be in any sort of order, this is just pulling it out and showing it to you. But what I've got here is I have just a Ziploc bag that my camera is actually going to go inside this op sack, and it's going to hang on my pouch, or hang off my shoulder strap or my sternum strap. And I'll carry it like that as long as it's not raining. If it starts to rain, I'll put my camera back in here and it'll slide inside the Ziploc bag, and then I'll put it in a side pocket on my backpack. But that'll keep it completely waterproof. And then I also have just a lock sack for my phone, because I will carry my phone, so that'll go in there. Next I have my North Face Verto. This is just a wind jacket. I was going to bring my Houdini, but it's been a while since I wore my Verto, so I figured I'd go ahead and take it. Plus, not to mention, this is an 1.5 ounces lighter than my Houdini. So I got my Verto wind jacket. This is my Luke's Seal Nylon, Luke's Ultralight Seal Nylon rain jacket. I really like this jacket. I had some issues with it the last time I wore it because it leaked at the seams, especially where my backpack straps were putting pressure. So I've actually seam sealed this thing. So I'm going to be carrying this as my rain shield. I'm carrying my Sawyer Squeeze and the updated 2-liter Sawyer Squeeze bag. That's going to be my water filtration system, and then my water storage for collecting water while I'm at camp. This is just a Sea to Summit head net. Bugs are probably going to be out, according to Jake. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this head net. Not sure if I'll use it, but it is what it is. It weighs 0.8 ounces and it comes in a didn't come. This is just a Cuben fiber stuff sack I got from Z-Packs. I stored in. This is a Cuben fiber pack cover. I'm not going to go into why I use a pack cover. That's personal preference. Toilet paper. Got plenty of toilet paper. At least I hope I have toilet paper. Plenty of toilet paper. These are my tent stakes. There's actually 14 tent stakes in here. I have 4 of the 1 gram Terra Nova tent stakes, which I use to pin down my floor on the Hexanet. I have 8 of the Lost and Klein tie hook stakes, which have the red coating on the heads, and then I have 2 of the MSR Carbon Core tent stakes. And I believe for all the tent stakes and this stuff sack, it weighs 2.5 ounces. Got my long handle REI Tieware titanium spoon. Bringing this because I'm doing freezer bag cooking. Got my Zebralight H51. Of course, do-it-yourself headband, and of course I've got the 1 lithium AA battery inside there. And this will actually go in my carry-on. I just put it in here so I remember it for the video. But this will actually go on my carry-on just because it has the battery in it. And then these are just the top part. I did a video a while back, showed you how I attach my water bottles to my shoulder straps. And these are the top parts. I just have it in a Ziploc bag so I won't lose it because they're kind of small. I don't want to lose them. But I'll actually put these on whenever I get my water bottles. But those are just the top part of that. And then next I have, this is the Olympics National Park map. We're going to look at it. We're going to sit down. That's one thing I didn't say. We haven't really nailed down which route we're going to do. Jake has a couple of ideas. And once we all get there, we're going to sit down and kind of look at the map and decide which route it is that we want to take, depending on who actually shows up, and of course our skills and how well are we going to be able to do it. But anyway, so we're going to take a look at that, and of course I've got the map. And then this is just a pre-printed label. I just wrote out my address and everything because I might have to mail my LT4 trekking poles back home once I get done. So I went ahead and wrote the label out and everything. That way when I go to do it, it'll all be done. So I've got that there. Okay, a couple other things I want to mention that I'm going to carry with me. This is just my Wabang Cuben fiber wallet. It's my everyday carry wallet. It has all my information, all my cards in it. It only weighs like 2.5 ounces for everything, with all my money and everything inside it. I just always carry this. My back pocket on my pants is zippered, so I can put it in my back pocket, zip it, and forget it. I ain't got to worry about losing it or anything like that. but that's what I carry. Then also I'm going to be carrying my Sunto Core. I'm actually wearing it right now. I'll be carrying this for my watch, and I've also got a paracord bracelet that I'll wear on the other side. Other than that, I have a whistle. I think it's the Screamer or something like that, and a little photon micro light that I keep in my cargo pants pocket. That way I always have that on me. Those are some other things. So the stuff that's going to go inside my pack, just kind of start. Keep in mind this is not in any sort of order. It's just as I'm taking it out. But anyway, this is my extra batteries for my camera, the extra lithium battery for my headlight. I've got a filter in there for my camera, a linear polarizer filter, and those are extra stuff, and of course those are in a lock sack. I have my Goose Feet Gear down pillowcase with my Exped pillow. I'm carrying that because I really like it. I will admit that with my pad, which is the Perlite 3, the small pad, with my pad, it does make it a bit difficult. It's not quite as easy as it is with my X-Lite attaching this. So I do have some issues with it sliding around stuff, and that's something I'm working on. But I just really like it, so I'm taking it. But then, like I said, I have my Perlite 3 pad, and this is the small. It's only a torso-size pad. Weighs 11.2 ounces, so I'm really excited about it. This is just a Lawson Klein Cuben fiber stuff sack, or dry sack should I say. And I've got this to store my sleeping or my down clothes that I'll use to sleep in, stuff like that. That's going to go in there. And then I've got a Z-Pax Cuben fiber dry sack. This actually, I put my quilt inside there. This is just a Cuben fiber stuff sack, and I've got a few items inside it that I'm going to keep close to the top of my pack. And these are things that I might need while I'm on the trail. Probably won't, but might. I've got my Z-Pax Cuben fiber over mitts, rain mitts. I've got the Trekker washcloth towel. I've got my OR PL150 gloves. I've got my Blackrock Gear down hat. This is the cape for my outdoor research hat. And then I've just got a buff, which can be used in a number of different ways. These are items that I may want while I'm hiking. May not, so I just have these in a stuff sack, just kind of keep them contained, but also kind of know where each of those items are. I have those there. This is just my ditty bag. It's got my first aid kit, my survival kit, whatever you want to call it. It's got a number of different things. This is my whistle and my photon light. I've got a little ladybug knife in here, of course all my medicines. I've got an ACE wrap, I've got Germ-X, bleach, blah blah blah. You've seen videos on this before. This is my Light Trail Cook Kit. I'm using this. This is also going to serve as my both my cook pot and my drinking mug. And I think I did a video on that a while back, how it converts. I can't remember. But anyway, I just have a Reflectix Cozy and a pair of hot lips to convert it to a mug. And then of course I drink with, or I boil water in it. And I'm using Esbit, like I said, and that's already shipped to Jesse, or not Jesse, to Jeff. This is my Z-Pax Cuben fiber Hexamid Solo Plus Tarp with the beak. Guy lines, stuff sacks obviously included. These are my Dry Ducks rain pants, and like I said, I am carrying rain pants. Also, I'm not necessarily worried about these though for while I'm hiking and if it's raining, although if it does I can wear them. But what I'm really going to use them for is bringing my down pants, my Goose Feet Gear down pants. So if I wear those at night, I'll put these over it to help kind of protect the pants so that they don't get torn or ripped or anything like that. Just kind of a multi-use item. The only time I carry those though is really if I'm carrying my down pants. If I'm not carrying my down pants, I'm not carrying that. These are some Goose Feet Gear over booties. These actually may be overkill, just depends on how cold it actually gets, because if it doesn't get cold, I'm not sure if I'm actually use my socks, which I'm bringing, I'll show you in a little bit. But if I'm not using those, I don't know. So these may actually be overkill, but I'm still going to bring them. It's a small weight penalty. This is my Z-Pax Cuben Fiber Hexanet. Of course, it's got the guy line in it, stuff sack, all that stuff. My backpack is going to be the Z-Pax Cuben Fiber Blast 30 backpack. It's got the two side pockets, it's got the main front pocket on the front. I've actually added the hip belt pockets, and these are the ones that fold over and clip rather than zip. I like them, but I'm going to admit, just in playing around with them, it's hard for me to reach around with both hands to actually snap this closed. So it's a little difficult to use, so I'm not sure how well I'm actually going to like that. But anyway, I'm going to try that on the trail and see what I think. Other than that, I have a Light Trail pack liner. It's just a pack liner, nothing special about that. I have that inside the bag. This is my Velbon V-Pod camera tripod. This is a new item for me, but I'm carrying this and I'm looking forward to using that. And then the last thing is my Gossamer Gear 1/8 inch thin light pad. And this will just kind of be folded up, stuck to the outside of my pack. This will be a sit pad during the day, and then at night if I need it below my feet, since I'm only using a torso size pad, air pad, that's where that'll be used. But anyway, those are those items. Let me show you these now. I'm carrying an extra pair of thin liner socks. These are just going to be my sleeve socks. That's all they're for. However, if I do need to wear them, I can. Bring my Goose Feet Gear down socks, just in case these aren't enough to keep my feet warm. I'll just throw these on over it. Bring my Montbell Ultralight down inner parka. Of course, I can wear this at camp if it gets cold, or I can sleep in it if my quilt is not doing a good job of keeping me warm. My Goose Feet Gear down pants, same thing. I can wear these at camp, or if my quilt's not keeping me warm, I can throw these on and they'll boost the warmth in my quilt. And then the quilt I'm bringing is my Enlightened equipment. This is actually the 35 degree is what it was rated when I bought it, but he's changed the design and stuff. I don't know what he would consider it. I find that for 40 degrees, as long as I'm wearing long pants and long shirt and socks and a hat, this does me fine at 40 degrees, but below that I'm going to have to start adding some stuff to it. So considering I was saying the temperatures I'm expecting 30, that's why I'm carrying these to supplement with this. So I'm very confident in this keeping me comfortable, not just safe, but comfortable at even 30 degrees. I've actually used this stuff down to about 23 degrees, and at 23 degrees I started feeling a little bit of a chill here and there. But I'm very, very comfortable in what I've got here. The last thing I've got is my food and the items that's in my food bag here, and I'm actually going to clear all this off and redo this video to show you what I've got in here. Hang on. Okay guys, for my food bag, as you can see, I'm just using the Z-Packs Cuban Fiber Blast food bag, and this is the one that has the roll top rather than the cinch top. I actually had the cinch top, sold it, and went with the roll top. And then also inside I have one of the Light Trail Nilo Barrier odor bags inside there, and that's what I use. So to show you what I have in here, first off I have this. This is a 5-ounce flask, and I have 5 ounces of cinnamon whiskey inside there, and I'll use that to add to my hot teas that I drink. I'll show you that a little bit. Now for what I've done here is I've basically got breakfast, and then I've got daily food. You can call it lunch, snacks, whatever you want to call it. And then I've got breakfast. And for each one of my daily foods, I've just put everything inside just a little quart-sized Ziploc bag. And these are items that I'll eat throughout the day. And I'll show you what's inside those in just a minute. A few other things out of the way. I've got just some wet wipes. I've got 12 wet wipes in here. That'll allow me about 2 per day. And also, just so you know, this is 6 full days worth of food, and actually a 7th morning for breakfast. But I'm not sure if I may not actually carry a 7th morning breakfast. But anyway, that's what it is. And also, just so you know, it's about 150 ounces for all the food, counting the food bag and everything. I didn't geek out this time and list out every single item, how much it weighs, and I didn't do all that. So sorry about that, guys, but I just know from the past how much I like to eat and what it is that I like to eat and how I do it. So this is what I've done. But anyway, I've got my bear line. This is the Light Trail H-line, and just a little mini carabiner that I actually attached to the food bag. I've got that in there just so I know where it is. This is just a toothbrush and a little bit of toothpaste inside there. These are some of the Camelback elixirs that thanks Brian Green. He actually gave me these a while back, and I found these in a cabinet, and they're still in date, good till 2014. But anyway, this is what I'm going to use to mix my water. There's 12 of these in here, so that should allow me 2 per day, which is fine. Other than that, it's all going to be food. So for my breakfast, I pretty much have 2 bags of these blueberry little mini muffins, and I've got coffee, the 3-in-1 instant coffee. I have some of the Vina Cafe coffee, and I also have some of the Nescafe coffees. To be honest, I think I like the Nescafes better than the Vina Cafe, but I've got them, so I'm just kind of to mix it up a little bit, you know. I've got that, and that's going to be a breakfast, along with I've got an emergency for each day. I also have, for some of my breakfast, I have strawberry Pop-Tarts, and of course I have the strawberry Pop-Tarts with the coffee and another thing of emergency. And those are pretty much my breakfast. For dinner, like I said, for each day I have these little bags made up. And just to let you know, inside of these bags I have 3, I know it's hard to see on camera, but I have 3 packages of these honey stingers, the chews. I have orange, pink lemonade, and fruit punch, I think is what it is. And then I've got an assortment. I've got Lar bars. I've also got fuel bars in some of them instead of Lar bars. I've got these chewy granola bars, and then I've got brownies. And I think that's all I have in each one of those bags. And then also, I couldn't fit it in the bag, but for each day I have a package of these Fresh Pack Ritz crackers. And basically that is going to be my meals throughout the day. These are things that I can stock. First off, I can store inside my hip belt pocket, so I don't have to worry about getting in my pack, getting in this big old bag, getting my food out. I can store it in there. I store everything inside the Ziploc bag. That way after I get done eating, I can put the trash right back in there instead of in my pockets or on the ground or anything like that. But anyway, so I can contain my trash and I have everything that I need with me right here for the day. I will say one other thing I'm thinking about getting is I'm thinking I'm going to get a couple of packages of sunflower seeds because I enjoy eating sunflower seeds. But I may get a couple of packages of that and throw it in. That way I have some nuts too. But then my typical dinners, I've got, I really like my hog vittles. I've got 4 different hog vittles meals in here and then 2 ramen based meals. But I've got a pack of, I've just got this sort of dinner along with a Hershey's Cookies and Cream candy bar. I really love these things, and I've got one for every night. It may be a bit redundant, but I like it, so I'm not worried about it. I just hope they don't melt. And then also for night, I have, like I said, I have some tea bags, and I have a little sugar and creamer to go with my whiskey, so that I'll have a good hot drink at night before I go to bed. And guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I have this thing basically replicated 6 times inside this bag. Some other things I have, these are just, I have 2 1-gallon size Ziploc bags, and these are actually going to be my main garbage bags, so that I can keep up all my garbage. But other than that, that's everything that's inside my food bag. And that pretty much rounds up everything that I'm taking with me on this hike. And just so you'll know, to give you some final numbers, because you know I can't do a video without actually telling you total weights and stuff like that, because I am an ultralight backpacker. I don't care what you say. That's just me. But anyway, to give you some final weights, for everything that I have here, everything that I'm putting inside my pack, not counting all of my consumables and stuff like that, but everything inside my pack, counting almost 2 pounds of camera gear, 30.5 ounces of camera gear, comes to 10.39 pounds. So technically that's not ultralight, because ultralight would be 10 pounds or less. So technically I'm more of a lightweight hiker on this one by about half a pound. However, I've really started getting into my camera stuff lately, and I've really been wanting to have more of a better camera setup than what I've been taking in the past. So it doesn't matter, because it still is what it is, but this is cool because if you'll take out my 10-ounce tripod and my 13-ounce camera and the rest of my camera gear, I would easily have less than 9 pounds worth of gear if I was to just replace the camera gear I have now with my old point and shoot and a battery or two. So I've definitely increased my weight because of that. As far as my carried items, which is going to be my trekking poles, the little whistle that's going to be in my pocket, stuff like that, it's about 1.48 pounds. Everything that I'm going to be wearing is going to be about 4 pounds. And then my total skin out, everything on me except for consumables, which is fuel, food, and water, is going to be 15.98 pounds. As far as my consumables, I'm carrying 5.2 ounces of Esbit. I'm carrying approximately 44.10 ounces of water. Like I said, 150 ounces for my food. And that gives me a total of 199.3 ounces for my big three consumables, or 12 pounds, 4.6 ounces. So, saying all that, everything that's going to be inside my backpack, everything that I'm going to be carrying, I'm going to have a 22.85 pound backpack. And that's everything. That's the stuff that I'm carrying, my camera gear, that's my food, that's my water, that's my fuel, that's everything. So I'm still looking at a sub 23 pound backpack for 6 full days worth of food, actually just a little over 6 days worth of food. And then stuff to keep me warm to at least freezing or just a little below. In my opinion, that is pretty good. Because I have a lot of luxury items, I must say, inside my pack. There are ways that I could cut out more weight if I wanted to. However, I feel like the items that I have in my pack is going to be enough to keep me both safe and comfortable and allow me to have a good time while I head out for this hike. And that's really all I can say. I can't really say anything else. So guys, anyway, I know this has been a super long video, and for those of you that's actually stayed in there and watched it all, I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate your time. If you have any comments or questions, just post those below. And as normal, I'll get back to them and try to answer them or reply to them. And guys, I just appreciate you watching. I'll see you later.